Hi, welcome to the second part of Princess and Pea, coloring from fairy tales by Selina Fenech. When I selected this page to do, I had some doubts because on this page I really love how Princess looks. She looks like quite a strong-willed girl, but in the same time she looks a little bit moody and even spoiled, and I was really interested in coloring her dress. I love the way how Selina Fenech draw dresses with all those folds and quite intricate structure, and I love Princess' face. I wasn't sure about the rest of the page. You know that I'm not a huge fan of coloring ornaments or similar boring patterns, so to do all those mattresses and bed sheets wasn't very interesting and inspiring, so I tried to do it as quickly as possible. But at least I was happy with the color palette which I invented for this page, and I love this color combo of intense violet plus pastel blue plus a gray-green color with addition of gold colors. So the whole color palette for the page is quite interesting and quite new for me. But to do that bed and bed sheets wasn't very interesting. So I planned to name this video how I color folds on the fabric or how I color dress. I plan to tell you how I wanted to show that dress is made from silk, but due to the princess travel, maybe fabric is already a little bit faded, so not so bright, and also that silk fabric is quite shiny, so some of the folds will be reflecting golden light which is present on this page. But I think that the best name for this video will be how I struggled again with this paper. My relationship of love and hate with books of Selina Fenech, they continue. I'm crazy in love with her designs, especially her latest books. Everything from Victorian Lane, fairy tales, or Australian animals. And each time when I finish to do page, I tell myself that it will be the last one. I simply can't color on this paper. And then, like an addicted person, I immediately start to do another page. I know that I can print them on nicer paper, especially now when we already have our art stores open again in Ukraine, so paper is available, but you know that I want to keep my pictures inside of the book, and I already can imagine that with so many finished pictures in this fairy tale, one day I will be able to get and to flip through book with all finished pictures. So each time I struggle, I hate this paper and I continue to color on it. In the first part, when I colored curtains, mattresses and bed sheets, I used Prismacolor pencils. Mostly because I love such unique colors like celadon or jade green, like blue slate. I also love violet colors in Prismacolor set, and Deco Yellow is my favorite pencil to create soft light on the whole page. But my problem apart from paper was that we already have quite hot weather here in Ukraine, so when you color on such paper and temperature is more than 32 degrees Celsius, so it's quite hot, and it was like Prismacolors were melting on this paper. And I realized that to work on small details like hair, like face, her arms, and to work on all folds on the fabric, it will be impossible with Prismacolors. So I decided to switch to polychromasis, and this paper it's not very good for all pencil brands, but polychromoses behaved slightly better comparing to Prismacolors, so I will try to color more with polychromoses later when I will be doing other pictures from this book, and I definitely will be doing them because all designs are simply amazing. So I decided that dress will be in various shades of dark carmine and red violet colors. I thought that it will match the whole color palette of the picture, and in the same time with such a intense and rich color of the dress, princess won't be lost. Usually, when I need to color such complicated structure of dress and fabric with so many folds, I prefer to start from coloring the darkest places, uh, more intense folds on the fabric. My darkest main color is burnt carmine, but in several places where I feel that I need even darker shadow, for example, lower part of the skirt, which is slightly uh, far from the light source which is coming from the upper part, so the lower part of her dress is less highlighted comparing to the sleeve or upper part of the dress. So there I intensified those inner parts of the folds using one of the polychromos pencils. Sometimes it was Payne's gray, sometimes I even used dark indigo or dark sepia. All of them can be combined with red, violet and burnt carmine colors and then can provide more depth in shading. Along the side of the dress and along her sleeve, I leave some uncolored area to show that shiny fabric of her silk dress will be reflecting light. Later I will add a little bit of yellow there, and in this way she will be nicely highlighted by the yellow light. Each time when I try to color faces and skin tones in this book, I try to do it in my usual way by adding quite intense shading, by trying to add some um, cool shading like some violet or blue colors to the skin tones, but then I realized that it's excessive, that on this paper it's only create some dirt on the skin, and it's better to simply cover face, arms, hands, legs with some pencil which can represent skin tone, and today I will be using light flash from polychromos. You can add very light shading using cinnamon, but any other excessive shading like I tried to do, it wasn't necessarily add on this paper. It's not possible to add it and to layer pencils so much. But good thing that here face and other areas of open skin, they are quite small, so heavy shading isn't necessary in my opinion. I also tried to create some highlights on her hair to color upper part, which is more highlighted using walnut brown and again adding some yellow to show that hair is also shiny, and lower part where her hand is pressed to the head, there I put black color, but again in the end everything looked a little bit messy. I can say that I am disappointed in the final result. It's maybe that I didn't get the full pleasure from the process of coloring. I am glad that I added another finished project to this book, and I am quite pleased that I tested this color palette of green, pale blue, rich violet and rich crimson color, and I think that it's not bad, but again, on better paper it would be easier to color, and maybe the final look also could be slightly more interesting and more detailed. Anyway, in the end, after I masked some black lines using ivory Posca, uh, It was easy to attract attention to the figure of the princess because she has quite intense and relatively dark colors, and all bedsheets they are considerably lighter. Also, I tried to attract attention to the P in the lower part by coloring it with bright green color. So in the end, it's not a bad work, but I definitely will need to switch to harder pencils probably when I color in this book, especially now during quite hot weather where it's start to be a little bit difficult to color with such soft and creamy pencils like Prismacolors. I still hope that you will like the final look of the princess, or maybe you will find interesting some color combos. As usual, thanks for watching.